All right. My name is Edward Hertzman. I am the founder and president of Sourcing Journal. Welcome. So I want to start out, I'd like you each to introduce yourselves and the company you're with, but specifically, you all kind of operate in a very similar space. So what is your point of differentiation when talking to the market? Jim?
Sure. My name is Jim Laverty. I'm the VP of Sales for North America for Bamboo Rose. We have a desk right over here behind the presentation tables. If you'd like some more information after the presentation, feel free to stop by. We sell an end-to-end E2E platform for retail suppliers and vendors. When I look at this and say, what's the differentiator? I think there's a number of things in our world today in the retail space. Having that one single platform that all of your ecosystem from suppliers, vendors, steamship lines, transportation groups, all to connect to have that visibility and transparency is absolutely key to driving revenue today. Another key differentiator for us, though, is really what we've been seeing is tariffs. Tariffs in the marketplace are a huge topic. Every prospect, every client that I walk into today and have for the last several months talk to us about tariffs. And we've developed a tariffs module to the system. So in real time, you can actually determine what the tariffs would be on an item that you're bringing to market and how you could change that product or the vendors or suppliers that you work with to either reduce or eliminate those tariffs. Thank you.
Not.
Is that on?
Hello.
Can we? Hello? Hi? Yeah. Oh, there. Gonna bring another one. Hi, I'm Sharuz Kohan. I'm from Ames 360 ERP software. So Ames 360, where we differentiate is we target companies that are between 1 million and 150 million. And we're really able to get smaller companies to scale up. We're a out-of-the-box product, and we cover everything from production to order taking, order processing, picking, packing, inventory, accounts receivables, all of the functions of an ERP system. We cover, and we deal a lot with startup brands and bring them to get all the way larger. We've had a lot of client acquisitions that they get bought by bigger companies, VF Corp, etc. And we love bringing enterprise-grade features to smaller clients. So we have clients that might be doing $2 or $3 million, and they're using forecasting features that a very large customer is paying maybe a company like SAP or something to create hundreds and thousands of dollars for that kind of a product is available to companies on a smaller scale.
Working, yes. Hi, I'm Kelly Stacy. I'm the VP of Customer Relationships for CGS Blue Cherry. I think our point of differentiation, we're the same thing. We're an end-to-end solution. We like to think from concept to consumer, complete supply chain. And I think our big differentiator is really our bench and our sort of consulting practice around our software application. We meet our customers where they're at, and we're able to be agile enough to stay in front of what the market needs. As it's moving and changing, it's changing the supply chain. And when we think about speed to market, that can mean, everything from how you're building your inventory, building the right product, how you're building your inventory around that and your demand, as well as, all the way through to your logistics. So we work with very large brands, and we're very proud of our dance card. One of the things that we talk about when we work with potential partners is really what you're inheriting is all the knowledge from all the companies that have already done this before you. So I think that's pretty much like what we really stand on. I came from the fashion apparel background. I was on the other side of the business. So I like to think that I speak brand very well. So at the end of the day, you have to be able to kind of simplify complex issues and resolve business challenges.
So this panel is really about product development and technologies that are transforming that. One of the big buzzwords over the past few years has been speed to market. I know it's really overplayed, but how do your technologies and how do these cloud-based systems that are out there today improve speed to market? You want to start, Jim?
Sure. So, our clients are consistently seeing anywhere between 6 to 12 weeks that they're being able to eliminate out of their go-to market timeline. So by eliminating all those manual processes that come along with bringing a product to market and digitalizing it over a common platform where it's very social, everyone's on a common platform. There's no more emails, there's no more calls, there's no more, Excel spreadsheets. That speeds up that time to market. And so, in today's retail industry, it's really a requirement. And we're seeing, like I said, between 2 to 3 months being able to cut out of that process by utilizing our technology.
Which is a lot when you're typically talking almost a 6-month cycle.
Yeah, it's about cut in half.
You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think that from our customer standpoint that we see, I was listening to a talk and it was the Airbnb founder, and he was talking about how they kept everything on Excel spreadsheets for so long until the accountant was completely couldn't do her work anymore. And what I think is happening, the change that's happening is clients are able to get out of things like Excel a little bit quicker. Again, because the technology has become better and it's more readily available to smaller startup clients. So we're bringing that to smaller startup clients from our side, and we see it happening in the industry. So don't think that, hey, you have to do everything manually all the time until you grow your company. There's areas where it actually demands for you to have automation. Otherwise, your cost is going to be so high that you won't be able to get from that $3 million company to a $10 million company. So
Kelly, it seems that everyone today would be operating on some type of technology. The fact is we still meet so many brands and retailers that are using Excel. Mm-hmm. It's hard to imagine that this is still existing. Why is there such a barrier to this operational efficiency? Why is it so difficult for these companies to like, as you were saying before, move over onto a platform?
I mean, I think part of it has to do with, there's in many of the organizations, there's people that have been there for many years, and that's how they've operated. Sort of what got me here is what's going to get me there. But I think with the emergence of such a digital business solution sort of strategy where you're not just dealing with ERP, you're also dealing with digital platforms and B2B and PLM and all these other acronyms that can be a little intimidating. You sort of have to pick your battles, and automation is one way to say, look, let's automate this part that's not as sexy as potentially the design and the creative side, but it allows you to scale your business and talk to your customer and focus on your brand. There's only so many resources. What I like to talk to customers about, because I really build relationships with the C-levels and all of the business areas, and I like to talk to them about really what you want to focus on is what your core competency is. So my role is to help you focus on those and take the heavy lifting off. And so we do that through automation and through solutioning, essentially. So we rarely discuss modules. We talk about what are your challenges and how can we solve them. It may or may not be a module. It may be a change in process. It may be another passive strategy that I can say, I think you should move in this direction. So we try to lead with what's the challenge, and then we solution for that challenge so that it's not so intimidating. But I think it's natural to move off of Excel spreadsheets. I always say you want to grow top line without having to grow headcount, and you want to bring on strategic players, and doing that tactical work is not necessarily how you want to grow. So
what are some of the other hurdles that brands have in achieving better operational efficiency?
At least for us, I mean, I agree with everything that you just said. One of the key components to our platform is to get the whole ecosystem to join the platform. So whether it's vendors, suppliers, transportation, whatever it is in that world out there, is sometimes a hurdle, right? So when we talk to our customers, they're concerned, can I get all of these different groups to sign up to get onto the platform? And for us, it's really come down to like an educational process, right? So once they learn, the benefits of the platform and what the solutions, and I think all of our solutions up here would bring to the table, right? So that they can understand, hey, by getting on this, I'm going to save this much time, this much cost, this much money is going to, and the return on investment. That educational process eliminates those barriers, right? And they learn and benefit how they're going to benefit from it. And so it's really not a hurdle. It's really more of understanding and educating them to bring them on.
Yeah, we see that employee buy-in is sometimes a problem that sometimes becomes an issue because everybody is busy with their day. Hey, I can't, make time to go and figure this thing out or that thing out, or I don't want to change the process. You touched on that a little bit. And that seems to be a big hurdle, especially companies that have been around for a long time. There might be, I actually worked with a client recently. They've been around for a very long time. They've been doing 10 million a year consistently, and they want to grow the company. But now those employees have been there for 10 years, and they don't want to change the process. So the implementation of the system is going to save them a lot of time so that they can focus on making more sales. But on the other side, the employees don't want to change anything. They just feel that, hey, I've done this for 10 years and there's nothing, I shouldn't have to make any change.
Good thing is there, though, then the system almost becomes that change agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it really it can benefit both parties.
So there's a large percentage of the attendees here that are startups or direct-to-consumer brands or emerging brands that maybe do not have the $100 million of volume and would typically be able to afford a typical PLM or ERP type system. Are you guys developing software? Does AIMS 360 have a platform that's cloud-based that allows a single user or two users to interact with it, where a $1 million company could join without having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in startup fees?
Yeah, so with AIMS 360, we've actually removed all the on-premise installs that we used to do, because from our side, we also have to stay very efficient in order to provide a lower cost product to our customers. We've had to cut out some of those things. For example, what I just said is we don't actually do on-premise anymore. Everything is cloud-based, because before a lot of the differences, AIMS has been around for 35 years, so a lot of the differences is somebody would get a server, they would put it in their office, they would have to get IT people to come in. On a smaller customer base, you wouldn't know what they're doing. Sometimes they weren't making any backups because they didn't want to pay the IT person to come in and turn on the backups on the server. So we're taking all of that over in the cloud, and I think the cloud is great for scalability. Even we integrate, for example, the Shopify and Jor, and they're also cloud-based, and that helps as well. If you saw, for example, the Kardashians, they had launched on Shopify, and then they got a whole influx of traffic. So before, when retail online systems weren't cloud-based, you would have to start adding servers on there. So you would tell your IT person, please add more server power, and it's like, maybe it was too late, and then all of a sudden your website would go down. So Shopify has really created something where it can scale up quickly, and it works really well for smaller clients, because they can start in at a lower entry point of cost, and as their business grows, the cost will increase, but then you're making more money on the other side, so you're able to cover it. So cloud-based has made it really easy for smaller businesses to grow.
So another, I don't want to say problem, but that obstacle that brands face today is making sure that they're compliant, socially compliant, as well as making sure that their factories are up to code. How does your systems improve visibility into the supply chain to make sure that everyone, all the stakeholders involved, whether it's the brand, the retailers, the agents, the factories themselves, are making sure and mitigating compliance risk?
Yeah, with our with the Bamboo Rose platform, we offer both an inspection and a compliance component to the platform. So, starting right at the top of the supply chain, you can have that visibility, which then trickles down the supply chain to once it hits, if we're importing over, once it hits the shores, it's going to reduce or eliminate returns within, the organization. Another key component to it, though, is we have these online scorecards. So when a vendor or manufacturer, supplier, whoever it is upstream signs up onto the platform, they're constantly monitored and scored compared to their counterparts. And so over a short period of time, you can start to visually see, and the data would support, who's performing well and who's not. So because of that, it's almost like an auto compliance mechanism. So that, we know immediately who's having issues upstream, or maybe we need to switch up suppliers.
Anyone like to add to that?
Yeah, we have a collaboration tool as well, the same thing. And I think it's, it's full transparency. And obviously when you work with overseas, their technology can be a bit of a barrier because they don't necessarily have sometimes access. So, along with the compliance, it also the least amount of touches. So they're able to communicate when shipments are leaving, different stages of production, being able to update systems on our side so that we're not doing manual updates. So again, it's sort of the least amount of touches and the most amount of communication and real-time communication regarding where that product is and work in process, so that you kind of can plan your business and know, are there going to be delays, et cetera. So we have a collaboration tool as well, and I think it's, again, it's that sort of like one version of the truth approach of being able to really know where your product is in the supply chain.
I just want to go back for a second. I know you talked about cloud-based. Are both of your companies on the cloud right now?
Yes, and I think for the same reasons. I mean, I think many of the reasons our customers choose to be in our cloud or have us host their infrastructure is, it's just, again, it's not where they want to focus their energy. So do you want to put your resources into an IT team, or would you rather put your resources into a business solutions team that can help you implement across different functional areas? So I think it comes down to priorities, and obviously managing infrastructure, there's no better owner of that than the owner of the application, right? We understand what our application needs to have the optimal performance, et cetera. So we take that heavy lifting off so that you can focus on growing your business and implementing B2B platforms and scaling your e-commerce operation or rolling out a new retail point of sale, et cetera.
Yeah, from the software side, the cloud also makes it really fast for us to be able to launch features to our customers. So before, even look at your iPhone right now. You literally go to the App Store and you press updates. There's like 1,000 updates all the time, right, to all the apps that you have. So cloud-based has really brought that upgrade cycle and made it shorter. Like before, you would see, Windows would give an upgrade like once every year, right? And now it's like you're getting an update all the time. We have the same thing. We used to create one upgrade once every year, and now we're like pushing upgrades like every week. So if somebody has like a bug or whatever that they give us, once that's fixed, that's pushed to all of the customers on the cloud. Everybody gets that fixed and resolved. So
Same with Bamboo Roads. We utilize both Azure and AWS, Amazon, for our cloud services. We've decided to really have those trusted partners for all the same reasons that my colleagues here have mentioned, as far as speed and accuracy and so forth. One of the things we have chosen, though, to stay in-house with is our implementation group. So our implementation teams they all come from the industry. They all come from retail. They're all, or the vendor manufacturer side of the business, and we do all of those implementations ourselves. And we've decided not to outsource that. So, but yeah, as far as being on the cloud, that's where we've been for the last 10 years, and we're not going back on premise.
So for someone in the audience that says, okay, I want to take the leap, I want to now engage one of you guys, purchase your software, what is the ramp up period? How long will it take before they're fully integrated in both the front and the back end is utilizing this?
I mean,
You want me to go? Sure.
Well,
So,
it's up
so ours for our marketplace, that collaboration module, we say live on day one. live on day one. So literally the first week of implementation, we can bring that up. So it becomes a social, it becomes ideation, it becomes a common communication platform for our clients to use. And then over the remainder of the implementation, typically it's a 3 to 4 month period of time to bring the rest of the platform on.
Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar. I think it depends on the complexities and what you're rolling out, right? If you're trying to solve, ERP, we can get you live as quickly as your team can get engaged and make decisions, right? Our job is to really go in and simplify the process and sanity check some of the business decisions, because one of the challenges with implementing a new system is sometimes you want to roll your old process into a new system. And the point is to improve your overall processes and streamline and create more efficiencies. And so we're challenging the teams as we're doing it. We're sort of saying, well, we work with 200 companies like yours, and I've never seen this before. So is this real, or is this just something so we're really also consulting and helping them make better decisions, while also staying agile and flexible, because we know the decisions we make today, in 5 years, they may be different. We may want to see our business differently. So I think it can be as quickly as you can get engaged, but also I like to think of them as rolling go lives, because we may have customers that go live with ERP, and then phase 2 is EDI integration, and then there's integrated financials, and then their PLM is a longer term. So I think it depends on what the business goals are, but it's all about getting the most bang for your buck, right, and the most ROI as quickly as possible, and getting the buy-in and the engagement from the team.
You find it difficult to get the buy-in from the supplier side, the factories and the agents that need to utilize the software?
I think years ago it was harder to get them to adopt a collaboration system, but I think as their costs go up, the thought of them being able to collaborate and save time and maybe resources going back and forth, I think they're adopting the tool for their own, maybe even selfish reasons of saying, I need to make sure that I'm lowering my costs. So
Are brands making it a requirement, though, saying, hey, if you want to work with us and you want to manufacture our product, you have to be on the system?
If you have that type of power, yes. I mean, I think it depends on where you are. If you own quite a bit of their market share, and I think you can say, this is how I operate, and this is my vendor compliance manual. You need to comply. But I think there's a want to try to make sure that you build a bridge a good partnership. So I think it just depends.
Definitely. I feel like it's up to the factory to decide what they want to do. Obviously, some factories, they say, hey, well, I don't want to give you any information, because any information I give you is more time spent from my side. That's probably not a good partner, but at the same time, some people feel, well, that was the cheapest way that I could get the product done. So, you have to make a decision at some point of when is that going to stop, because it's going to cause a problem. It's not going to be all peaches and roses forever that, hey, they send you everything on time. You're going to have to take some actions if they're going to be late, or something is going to pop up in the production process. In terms of implementation, your original question, to go back to that, I think that does depend on the scope of the project, but we see clients that can get up and running in less than 30 days, and on the other side we see clients that want to split it into different phases, and it might be within 6 months or a year that they want to do something, just because of the resources that they can dedicate to it. I mean, we can work as fast as the client, but realistically, it's sometimes the client also needs to figure out what things that they can get done realistically on time, and that's why it might split into different phases.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but the good news is all three of your companies are located right over here on the floor. So if anyone has any additional questions, please feel free to stop by. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.